Some things that a lot of us don't want to do is get on our hands and knees and crawl through a crawl space. A basement's one thing, but a crawl space is another. And actually, things that are in crawl spaces can be kind of scary. Well, if you have a crawl space and you're getting your home inspected, especially one that you're interested in buying, someone like John Bowley, who's an inspector, may have to go down there and take a look. So I've asked him to join me here on the program today to talk about inspecting a crawl space. Hey, John, how are you?
I'm good, Joe. Good to be with you.
Hey, it's great to have you here. So I'm kind of claustrophobic and I don't like surprises. So I probably shouldn't be in a crawl space.
Correct. Crawl spaces can be a confined space and they can be a dangerous space too. But yet, that's where all the primary components to the home is when you're on a raised foundation. There's a concrete slab, raised foundation. Somebody's got to go under there and verify what is there.
Yeah, actually, in some ways, I would say that having a crawl space under your home is better than having a slab, because in a slab you can't get into the plumbing, you can't get into wiring, it's all encased. It's really nice to be able to get underneath, much like a basement, where you can get underneath it and actually make repairs, inspect it, or replace.
Exactly. And what you want to be able to do with a crawl space is the outer perimeter needs to be properly done. You want water to drain away from the home, not underneath the home. And a lot of times that's when the raised foundation, which is a concrete foundation, is it can crack. And I find cracked foundations all the time. Stem walls, we find the different age of the home plays a big role because then the building components are different types of material. You crawl under a home, it could be muddy, there could be rodents. I go under homes all the time and see a nest of rats or
Mm.
mice. What do you do? Do you panic? What do you do? Most of the time, you have to use your PPE, your personal protection, mask up, have a good suit on, gloves, a good camera and light. I always carry a backup light because sometimes the power goes out on your light, so have a secondary. And when you're in a crawl space, it's confined. Sometimes you got to belly crawl. I have a crawl space robot too that
Oh.
goes under the house. And one day I'm going to bring it and prop it up here, and you can see what the crawl space robot looks like. Looks like a little tank. It's really cool. Clients like it because now it can crawl under the house,
Yeah.
and you can video it, take pictures. You can do a number of things with it. When I get lazy and I don't feel like crawling, I put the robot in.
Yeah, I'm thinking if you come across rats or a raccoon or a skunk or a snake or whatever would be under there, your first reaction is to go, right? So, do you wear a hard hat
Yes.
under there? Because I know that reduces some clearance. Okay. So,
Yeah,
I mean, you don't want to hit your head.
you can put a hoodie on. Some guys put a hoodie on. But the problem with a lot of that stuff is things get inside you when you put it, and they can get around your head.
Mm.
They can that can do you more harm than good. It can get tugged on. I had a real estate agent just the other day show up with coveralls on and a hard hat, and he crawled under the house. He's a young guy. He means well. He's trying to help his client and impress the client, but that's our job. We do that. We do it every day. We know when not to crawl. The first thing you don't want to do is crawl under a house if it's wet, if it's got pondy water, because if there's some wires laying on the ground, you're not going to come home very good. You can get stuck in a crawl space. I've pulled other inspectors out. So confined spaces, you want to use common sense, safety. The first amount of safety is your own safety. If it's unsafe, don't do it. You know, you need to have the right amount of space to enter inside. And there's guidelines that we have, 24 by 18 inches high, whatever, I forget what the guidelines are. I just do them all the time. But going in a crawl space, check that plumbing. Before you go under the house, turn everything on. See where the water's going. I find shower pans leaking all the time. Brand new homes, shower pan flooding the crawl space. Why? Because they don't put the liner in, or the grouts and sealants have failed. You'll look at the shower pan in the master bath. You're turning the water on, you fill it up just a little bit, and it just looks like a rainfall. So crawl spaces are really important. And then electrical, making sure where the wires are and how they're stapled. Copper water piping, a lot of times you'll see the copper water piping, but they have mixed metals. They'll have galvanized straps on them, and galvanized causes electrolysis and little pinhole leaks, and water squirts out. But be careful with rodents, skunks especially. I've been sprayed. It's no fun. You can get injured, you can get bit by the rodent. So use common sense. If you see him from a distance, yeah, you're going to go, oh my God. I do it so much. I see it, I know how to back away. I know how to go the other way. He's going to go the other way. If you corner the rodent and think you're going to pet him, wrong idea. Raccoons do not play around. They will come after you. I've had a family of them inside a floor furnace, and I go past it and I heard the baby come out. I looked and I'm like, oh my God, because mama's close by and mama wants to protect the babies. Get out quickly.
Absolutely.
Rattlesnakes are another one. I've
Yeah.
had rattlesnakes under a home. And then the agent wants to say, are you going to come back and do it? No. You get them out, get somebody to get them out, because you can't kill them. You can't harm them, because now the city comes down when you really bad.
Sure, sure. Hey, the moral of the story is don't go under there and inspect your own home. Call the big time inspector, John Bowley from Building Specs Pros. All of his contact information is located in the description of this podcast. John, as always, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Joe.